Okay, time to switch gears a little bit. As in out of park and into drive. Now I do see myself in the mirror every day, but I don't really pay that much attention, which is, probably fairly obvious. But even seeing yourself in the mirror every day doesn't really make you aware of gradual changes, including, if not especially, massive weight gain. When I was editing one of my previous videos, I was able to see a clip of myself recently compared to how I looked when I shot the intro video just a few short months ago, and the difference was, frankly, catastrophic. So it's time to get my ass up and into shape, and if I announce it here publicly, I'll be a lot more likely to be shamed into sticking with it. Now don't worry, I'm not going to be turning this into a fitness channel or a body shaming channel or anything like that. It's not going to be all humble bragging about my diet or my exercise regimen. This is really more about my personal odyssey, but I'm hoping that it ends up being helpful to someone out there. You see, I've been through this once before, and now I've got to start all over, but at least I can use what I learned the first time around and get better results, rather than if I had to reinvent the wheel all over again. I got really heavy about 10 years ago, and through a combination of diet and exercise, I lost 60 pounds in just under a year. And I was actually able to keep it off for a few years, and people are like, wow, what's your secret? But then a combination of factors kind of came together and turned me into the doughy mess you see today, and now a lot of people are looking at me like, what the hell happened to you? Life. That's what happened. And take it from me, if you're going from single to taken, or from childless to serving an 18-year to life sentence, I wanted to give you a heads up on what is about to happen to you, and hopefully give you some tips on what anyone, men or women, might be able to do about it. Now don't get me wrong, there are far worse things in the world than carrying a couple of extra pounds, no matter what TV, magazines, or that one really irritating Facebook or Instagram friend tell you. Now in my case, I'm not worried about my weight per se, I'm more concerned about my general level of fitness and energy. I mean, I know what my general level of fitness should be, and I know that I don't like the way I feel most days, so it's time for me to get up and do something about it. Plus, I waited until a little bit later in life to have kids, and now I'm pushing 40 and I have an infant son. I'm going to be well into middle age by the time he's a teenager, and I don't want to miss out on doing all kinds of fun dad stuff just because I couldn't be bothered to take better care of myself. Now I'm going to keep getting older, there's no stopping that, but that doesn't mean I have to keep getting any fatter or any weaker than I am right now. Frankly, a lot of the fitness advice I've gotten over the years has been total crap anyway, and so I'd like to do my part to put some counter advice out there. According to all of those charts that calculate your ideal body weight and your BMI based on your height and your body type, I should weigh about 150 pounds. At my skinniest, I got myself down to 160 pounds, and people were frantic and thought I was just wasting away. And now I'm not even shooting for 160, I'm aiming more for like 175, which will still categorize me as overweight, and on some charts borderline obese. Now that's obviously a problem with the system. So if you think this is the kind of thing that can never happen to you, let me break it down for you. As I said before, I got really heavy a couple years ago, and it was right after I started working in IT, and I pretty much spent all day sitting on my ass. Now once I hit about 220 pounds, I started on the Paleo diet, and I started working out every day, and I was able to drop 60 pounds. I actually maintained that weight for several years, but I'm not going to bullshit you. It had far less to do with discipline and willpower, and a lot more to do with borderline poverty, which really helps with dieting, and being single, which gives you plenty of time to work out every day. Now when I started dating again, obviously I started eating out a lot more, and after I met Jessica, and especially after she moved in, we had to start planning like real meals with entrees and side dishes and all that. When you live alone, you'll feed yourself any old crap or not eat at all. You don't care. I'm not even kidding. This is a photo I took of my own fridge when I lived alone at one point. But when there's someone else in the house, you feel obligated to, make an effort. And if one of you is hungry, the other one of you feels obligated to eat. So you end up eating a lot more than you did before. And after we got married, we started getting really lazy together, as happy couples are wont to do. So due to all those factors, we both started slowly but steadily packing on pounds. But it was when Jessica got pregnant that things really started to snowball. Okay guys, I'm about to drop some real knowledge on you, because apparently a lot of you haven't quite figured this one out yet. Ready? Pregnancy takes a huge toll on the body, and both your child and the mother of your child are going to need all of the extra calories, carbohydrates, protein, fats, etc. that they can get. You have two very important jobs right now. The first is feed her. She needs it, the baby needs it, they both need it more than you do. Feed her. She's got a human being growing inside of her, along with the placenta and the amniotic fluid and all the other associated add-ons. So she's going to get big. But she's not going to feel big. She's going to feel fat, no matter what you or anyone else tells her. So your second, only slightly less important job is make her feel not fat. And frankly, the best way to accomplish this is to eat with her so that she never feels like she's being a pig. In fact, eat more than her. And if you don't already, make sure you weigh more than her. If she can look at the scale and feel that at least she's smaller than you, that really will make a big difference. So just accept it, boys. If you're gonna be a father, you're gonna get fat. But hey, I just tell everybody it's baby weight. And if mothers can get away with it, I don't see why fathers can't. That seems somewhat fair. The ironic part is that Jessica didn't put on a single pound during her pregnancy. Somehow she actually managed to lose a couple of pounds, and still gave birth to a healthy 8-pound baby boy. I put on at least 35 pounds during those 9 months. And now don't get me wrong, I love her to death, and I'm nothing but proud of her. But still.
You bitch!
Now, unfortunately, pregnancy is not the end. In fact, it's not even the worst part, because once the baby comes, that weight train don't stop. You see, the body has two major ways of recharging its batteries: sleep and fuel. Now, unfortunately, when you've got a crying, screaming infant in your house, you are simply not going to be sleeping as much as you were before, so the body makes up for it by demanding more fuel. And neither of you are going to be interested in cooking complete, healthy, nutritious meals, especially not for the first couple of months. So you're going to end up eating a lot more processed foods and fast foods and other assorted junk. Oh, and kiss the gym goodbye. You're not going to have time for that anymore, or the energy. Seriously, dads, do not even think about talking to the mother of your child about taking time away from the baby to go to the gym. You will not get a good reception. That's a true story. So guys, this is now your dad bod. Accept it, enjoy it. It's kind of like a free pass, but try to make it a temporary one. All good things have to come to an end.
I can't run too fast after 15 years of eating nothing but gummy worms. I'm gonna quit tomorrow, I swear.
So that concludes the "How did this happen?" portion of our talk today. Now, what can we do about it? There are tons of diets out there. A lot of them are pure bunk, but some of them have actual scientific merit behind them. Really, you just kind of need to do a little research, experiment, and find what works best for you. But if you don't want to do a lot of research and you're just looking for my quick and easy recommendation, I will say that I have done both the Paleo diet and the Ketosis, or low-carb, high-fat diet before, and had good results with both of them. Now, low-carb diets tend to automatically also be low-calorie diets, so that's a big plus, but I won't lie to you, it is very hard to completely give up bread and pasta and potatoes and beer. I will also say that in my experience, and keep in mind I am not a registered or certified dietitian, but I have noticed from myself and from other people I've talked to, men tend to do better on the paleo diet and women tend to do better on the ketosis or low-carb, high-fat diet. And current evidence suggests that, in general, Men's bodies tend to prefer protein as an alternate fuel source, whereas women's bodies tend to prefer fat as an alternate fuel source. And don't be misled by the term fat. If you're cutting carbs, it is not a good idea to also cut fats out of your diet. You simply cannot live off of raw vegetables and non-fat yogurt, especially when you're first starting your diet. Slow and steady results are way better than a crash diet where you lose 10 pounds in a week and then you get really sick and then you put on 15 pounds while you're recovering. Now, as for exercise, that's going to depend a lot on your metabolism and what you're trying to accomplish. Now, for myself, I have found that I tend to lose a lot more weight when I focus more on weight training than on cardio, and that also seems to be common among men, whereas women might benefit more from the opposite approach. You just have to do what works for you. But frankly, as someone who's been through all this before, I have to say that I really do feel that cardio is kind of overrated for weight loss, especially if you're doing exclusively cardio. Now, obviously, any exercise is better than none, and if you don't have a gym nearby, or a place or a time at home to lift weights, and your only real option for exercise is to start walking more, or jogging, or running up and down stairs at work, or whatever it is, then by all means, go for it. It's certainly not bad for you. I just feel like, personally, there are probably more efficient ways of using your time and energy, but that's not for me to say. That's for you to find out. Now, that being said, the reason that I feel that weight training is better for you in the long run is because if you do weight training consistently and energetically, you'll get all of the same benefits as cardio, and you'll also benefit in the long run from having a muscular body. A muscular body tends to burn more calories simply by being muscular, even when it's at rest. And when I say muscular, I'm not talking about this. I just mean a body with some good, firm, lean muscle on it somewhere, even if it's not visible, just so long as it's there. So, is it simple? Yeah, it really is. Diet and exercise. There's plenty of information out there on how to follow any diet of choice, and exercising is hardly brain surgery. But is it easy? Hell no. Exercise sucks. Dieting sucks.
This sucks more than anything that has ever sucked before.
I mean, we live in a world that has tacos and dozens of TV streaming apps. Who the hell wants to deprive themselves of that? But you need to find a balance, and that means getting off your ever-expanding behind and actually doing something good for yourself. On a side note, I noticed that a lot of my friends lately have been training for marathons and half marathons, and even Jessica wants to give it a try. My general attitude towards running is, why? I don't see any zombies chasing after me. And then their response is always like, well, what if the zombies came tomorrow? What would you do? Are you kidding me? I live in a red state. The zombies are already here. But I'm digressing. And I've said pretty much everything I wanted to say. Probably too much, in fact. But hopefully, if you've never taken the time to research weight loss strategies because you're put off by all the conflicting and contradictory information out there, hopefully you can use this as a very basic template to getting your own weight loss plans off the ground. And hopefully in the coming weeks and months, you'll start to see a lot less of me. Not fewer videos, but, just less of my body taking up the screen. And if you found any of this information helpful, please like it and share it. Or if you're just looking forward to seeing me fail in an avalanche of donuts and Netflix, go ahead and subscribe. Either way, we'll see you next time.